Maria, Maria. All right, boys, buckle up. It's go time. We're going to talk about the new normal here with the housing market. At this point, it's a joke. So if you're new here, welcome. Let's have some fun. Let's not get too depressing. Let's kind of laugh it off. But let's kind of see, this is what I see the housing market turning into. The new normal, if you would say. Anyways, let's let this little sugar thing start us off, and let's have some fun.
So let me get this straight. We can't afford rent because rent prices are increasing so much to push us out to buy homes. But the interest rate is so high, you can't buy a home. And also you're not going to get funded for a home because of your debt to income ratio. So then what? And then homelessness or houselessness is becoming criminalized. So then what? I don't understand.
For 100.
Okay, we're gonna say exactly what she's thinking. The then what part. This is where we're gonna dive deep. Oh, and we're gonna have a good time with it. And to be fair with the homelessness thing, you really gotta fuck up to be homeless, man. That's self-inflicted right there. Like, even though shit's as bad as it is, come on. If you're doing the right things, it's going to be really hard to be homeless. Maybe not, though. We'll find out. But this right here started off, tiny homes. This is kind of where I see the future heading.
150 a month. Would you stay in one of these in Thailand? Everyone has their own little living space. This one's mine right here. Let's check her out. All you get is a bed, air conditioning, and a mini fridge. What more could you need?
What more could you need? I don't know. Maybe a toilet? I mean, maybe I'm just institutionalized at this point. I guess digging a hole outside would be fine. I could hang with that. But that's this is where I see it going, though. I would not doubt if this happens more and more and more. Like this one right here. This chick for $35,000 put a tiny home in her backyard. So first of all, she has a backyard to do that. I don't know, maybe it's at her parents' house, something like that. But I think this right here is kind of going to be the new, this is going to be the new it shit here, okay? And I was kind of doing a deep dive on this just because I was curious. And, the average cost of these is around $30,000 to $100,000. So basically as much as most new cars. So that's cool. Because that's kind of the other spot, van life, car life. But like even the tiny homes, though, it's kind of like
in 15 years,
you need land to do that. So that's kind of, but I see that being super popular. Like, like you hear these things about people like starting kind of like a commune and putting a bunch of tiny homes on land type of deal. I don't know how well that's going to work out considering most people don't even know their neighbors. So kind of good luck with that. I'm not saying it can't happen. That would be cool. Like powwows and shit, bonfires at night, all kumbaya and all that. Does sound pretty cool. I'm not going to front. Maybe a little garden, you know what I mean? Everyone just shares their wives, in this kind of society. That makes sense. But anyways, let's keep the ball rolling here. This guy's slick Ricky Aola here. You got to admire that hair.
most people will not be able to afford a house. Obviously, in the last 2 years, housing prices have gone up extremely fast, making it very unaffordable for many people. And even with the market softening, it's actually more unaffordable now with higher interest rates. There are only two ways that it can become more affordable over time. People start making a lot more money, or two, prices just crash and they lower interest rates. I don't see either of those scenarios really happening. They can't lower interest rates and prices go down. That's not how it works. But if I was betting, I would say the wealth gap is going to continue to grow bigger and bigger as time goes on, because that is the trend we have been following. And if that happens, you're going to have a large portion of the wealthy people who own the majority of real estate, and they're going to be renting to everyone else. But the good news is, no matter where you're at today, there's still time to get ahead of this. You can start making the moves to...
And what kind of moves do you need to make? Let's see right here with this sweet little thing. Day 33 of living in our car.
Day 33, living in my SUV. to save $25,000 to move to Africa, and I'm doing the damn thing.
Okay, I didn't see that coming with the Africa thing. I didn't watch that clip all the way, but but I see this being the new norm. And I actually did live in my car for 2 months, and I did stack up a lot of money. But I see that being another wave. It's already happening. That's already a thing. Like the tiny homes and the cars, that's already a thing. And it's not uncommon anymore. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I see this going. Even more. Like I don't know. That's just kind of what I see. If you're new here, I like to read some of your guys' comments throughout the videos. Keep it light, keep it loose, keep it fresh. Sarah goes, most people are in total survival mode, stressed out completely, doing things just because of money. It is the worst place to be because you end up doing things you don't want to be doing and have no peace. Luxury right now is not having many bills, living simply, no debt, and being able to save. Yeah. It sounds so simple in a perfect world. And I'm not going to front. I think this is why most people do the van life thing besides like the adventure aspect of it. It's because they're tired of all these things. The bills. It's getting to the point where people are literally like, I would rather live in a shoebox in somebody's backyard in the middle of nowhere than deal with all this shit. It's awesome. I love it. It's perfect. This guy, Johnny, he goes, my rent just went up again. I'm on the verge of living in my car. Not because I have to, but I've done the math and I could eat out every single day, laundry done, the whole nine. And for $550 a month in the bank after having extra fun, was fuck the blood-sucking rent. Everyone that can live in their car definitely should. It's just crazy. That's where, like, the mindset is. Like, that's the craziest part. But I get it. I fucking get it. You know, I have a roommate. I'm mid-30s. I own my house. I inherited this house, by the way. It still is very expensive. That's something a lot of people don't think about, too, with inheriting a house. It's a lot. Like, unless you just got a house paid off, I mean, you just get a shit ton of bills. Like, I inherited a bunch of bills. But I'm stoked because I own the house. That's awesome. And I rent out a room. I could afford it on my own, but that's kind of where it's at. Like, I don't know. I'll probably have a roommate for life. Or if I find a woman that wants to help pay, I guess. Unless I'm just get stupid rich. That's a different story. But anyways, that's kind of where I'm at. This dude, Smart Cookie, goes, car payments are as much as mortgages now. Makes sense that people are living in them. Self-fulfilling prophecy. That's where it's at, man. When we looked at those tiny homes in the beginning, 30 to 100 grand, that's what cars are costing. It's awesome. But check this out. These are full-blown adults here, okay? And they're going to tell us their mortgage prices, and I still think it's absurd. I still think the price is high. Listen to these numbers.
How much is your house payment?
$2,100 a month.
And how long have you been in your house?
15 years.
Oh, nice.
15 years, $2,100 a month. I don't know. She might have a big piece of land. She might have a big-ass house. But that's still, like, I'm still going, come on, man.
$1,150.
Oh my goodness.
That
And
one's
that's
chill.
$1,150.
And how long ago did you buy your house?
About 12 years ago. It's $2,400.
Nice. How long ago did you buy it?
We bought it in, the fall of 2021. And yeah, I think we have something like a 2.5% interest.
So we built our home in 2012 and my mortgage payment is $1,980.
Oh, nice.
She goes, oh, nice. I don't know if I'm tripping, and I understand, like, I don't expect shit to be free. Like, I don't even want to say that, okay? I'm not saying that. But, dude, when like, the baseline mortgage is $2,000, I don't know, man. That's not looking too hot. I don't like it. It's actually kind of pissing me off. But I did this little, like, mortgage calculator here on Google, and since I live in Florida, I just use Florida. So I made up a magical price, a fairy tale price of $350,000, which would be a great deal for a house, not an apartment, with a $70,000 down payment, which that 70 grand could just buy you a tiny home, or a Ford F-150. So you take the pick on that. But check this out. I put perfect credit score. Interest rate is a little high, but whatever. I put the perfect credit score in, and the price is still $2,400 a month for the mortgage. And it's saying that my property tax would only be $4,000 a year, and my home insurance would only be $1,000 a year, which is probably way off. So this would probably be more like 3 G's a month. Which I don't know about you guys, but I'm not cool with paying $3,000 a month just for my house. I'm cool on that. I'm extra good. Like I'm kosher on that. But I just thought that was funny though, because I'm just sitting here going, it really is true. Like I guess most of us are just gonna rent forever or live in a tiny home or a Hyundai Sonata, one of those. But this one's trippy because I actually looked at my mortgage payment and all my information, and what this lady says is so true, and it's kind of funny. It's fucked up, but it's funny. Hear her out.
Paid our April 1st mortgage payment. We just bought our house in December at a 7.25% interest rate. And I knew that was a high interest rate. It is a high interest rate, but you don't really visualize it in like a dollar form until you start reading your statements. So my payment is $2,480.
Hey, she's right on par with that $2,400. Right on the money.
$225 goes towards our principal. $1,698 is interest.
It's a beautiful world. All right, this dude, this guy, he's always commenting. He goes, "You're 100% spot on with the housing market. Look what happened in 2008. It's the same thing basically saying that happened in 2008. Trying to justify insane asking prices in the moment where affordability is an all-time low. Just stay out of the market, steer clear, look for bargains, build your own, live small, do alternatives like RV or tiny house, anything you could do to get out of the way of the oncoming flood of overpriced houses." Yeah, and I think he's right. And then this person goes, "You're better off buying land and then build your own house on that land." Yeah. I think the whole like kind of commune, kumbaya, everybody getting together thing, I think that's going to become pretty popular, or at least like two families living in one house. But like I've even talked about this with a couple of my homies, like really good friends of decades upon decades of friendship. We've discussed like buying a piece of land and then all of us pitching in and then building some homes on it. We've thought about that. That's a real thing. And I think that's going to become a little more popular. Or like with the tiny home, let's say your mom and dad own a house, you build a tiny home in the backyard. Grandma and grandpa, they living in the backyard. You got Uncle Rico in the corner, he's got a tent set up. You got cousin Jimmy, he's in the RV down on the corner lot. I see that becoming really popular. That's just where my head's at with it. Anyways, let's keep this party moving. I think we got Grant Cardone, the Wizard, next here. I love this guy. He's
Millennials don't want to own homes today. Homes going forward over the next 30 years will prove to be an even worse investment than the last 30 years.
But you would still invest in real estate.
Oh, 100%. Real estate that has cash flow and tenants in the properties. That comes with the maximum number of tax benefits, passive income that people need forever. And
I'm going to need a take a hit, man, because this guy's a trip, dude. I'm going to have to loosen up to listen to the rest of this.
And big depreciation as well as long-term appreciation. Now, the audience is going to say, but where am I going to live? You're going to rent. You're going to rent where you live, and you're going to take the money that you would normally use to buy a house, and you're going to use that to build yourself, build your business, or invest in other real estate that pays you income. A house is a terrible, terrible investment, and I own 2 of them. So my advice to all young people, never buy a home, ever. Until you're super wealthy, then you buy a home. Till then, invest in yourself, invest in your business, and invest in real estate that cash flows.
It sounds so simple. I thought he was about to say, buy a house, rent it out, live in your Subaru Forester. That's what I thought he was about to say, but I was tripping. The craziest part is even if you wanted to buy a house to rent it out to get cash flow, it almost doesn't even make sense anymore. You could still pull it off, but like even where I live, a great deal on this crib, even if I wanted to rent it out at a fair price, I would still only make like $500 a month. And then if anything happens, anything major happens, what's that, $6,000 a year? A fucking roof, any kind of water heater. So that's kind of the backside of that, where it's all like people like him, super wealthy, they could have 50, 100 homes, and then that would make sense, even if they only made 300 off a house times 100, and you do the math. Anyways, that's kind of the other thing that's kind of fucked up with that. Anyways, this guy goes, I think high rent is really the core problem. Single people aren't really supposed to be buying single family homes. Oh, that makes sense. Single people, that's why they call it family homes. That makes sense. I think you're onto something here. We're supposed to be renting until we start a family, but rent is freaking unaffordable. So we're pushed into the housing market. One house per person isn't really doable. See, this guy makes all the sense in the world, especially when we have thousands entering this country every day. Holy smokes. Thank you, Magnetic 1884. I think you said that perfectly. But here's the problem. We're all just gonna end up alone. No, I'm not gonna get pessimistic, but it's true. It's true. And how many of us solo lone wolves are gonna be able to pull that off? Probably not many. And then the other downside to it too, let's say like you just want to live in an apartment, right? Let's say your mortgage is $2,000 a month for an apartment. All of a sudden, your apartment dues go up to $700 a month. That's the other problem that a lot of people are facing. My ex-girlfriend, her apartment dues were like $800 a month. She owned it too. And I remember saying, "Hey, life's a lot easier if you split the bills with people." But she left me. It's classic. Good luck with that. I'm sure a perfect man exists out there somewhere. He's real, I think. Anyways, this is beautiful. We're gonna end on this note. This guy really this is beautiful right here. Just get ready for it.
Some of you will never own a home, and quite frankly, you never should, because based on the comments and things I'm seeing right now, it is crazy how negative and how defeated and how many victims there are in this world, and how rates are too high and home prices are too high, and I can just never make it. You're right, because you said it and you wrote it and you left it in my comment section. You will never have a house.
Not with that attitude. To be fair, though, all the things those people said are true. I get what he means with the whole attitude adjustment thing. I get that. But to be fair, they're not tripping. All those things are 100% accurate. Just saying.
Because you'll never have the right mindset to ever get yourself out of your slump. Your mind is your biggest enemy. If you can learn to tame your mind, you can do anything. You can have a home if you want. By the way, not everybody wants a home, and that's okay. But those of you who come on my channel and you mention how expensive everything is and how horrible the economy is and how horrible your job is, guess what? You're right. But you also have the freedom and the choice to change it.
God, why didn't I think of that? Fuck. Anyways, you guys leave your thoughts. I get what this dude says about the mindset, and a lot of us the wheels are turning. We're percolating. We're going, what are we going to do? We're trying to look ahead, right? So, yeah, I mean, but the guy's kind of tripping, though, a little bit. Like, everything is fucked. It's not cool. Like, you literally have to get rich nowadays. Not for vanity either. Not to, like, drive a Porsche. Just to own a place and, like, live okay and drive a Tahoe. It's awesome. God, hell of a talk. Shout out to all my Patreon members. Love you guys. You guys leave your thoughts. Just a heads up, Sunday's live stream, I'm going to be out of town. I usually do a live stream at 6 p.m. Where you guys can call in show. It's going to be canceled this Sunday. That's the 21st. God, hell of a talk. You guys leave your thoughts. What are you guys thinking about? How are you guys living? We just got to have fun with it at this point. Kind of got to laugh this shit off. Solid talk.